Hello, I'm the Awesome Tutor, and today we're going to be looking at controlling blood glucose levels and diabetes. Now, glucose, let's have a quick overview of that first. Our cells need glucose for respiration, so it's very important to control blood glucose levels so that cells have a constant supply of glucose. And glucose comes from our food, mainly from the digestion of starch. And remember, glucose is just sugar. Now, excess glucose is converted into glycogen, which is an insoluble storage carbohydrate found in the liver and the muscles. Now, insulin is very important in the control of blood glucose levels. First of all, it's a hormone, and hormones are just chemical messages carried in the blood which causes a change in the body. After a meal, blood glucose levels rise, and you need to control this. So the pancreas detects this change, and the pancreas is very important in the control of blood glucose levels. Remember the pancreas. And it releases the hormone insulin. Insulin allows glucose to move from the blood into the cells for use, like for respiration. And some glucose is also stored as the insoluble carbohydrate glycogen in the liver and in the muscles. Now, glucagon is another very important hormone in the control of blood glucose levels. So when blood glucose levels fall, such as when you're exercising or just between meals, your pancreas again detects this change and releases the hormone glucagon this time. And glucagon allows the glycogen to be broken down back into glucose, and this happens in the liver. And the glucose is then released into the blood, and now the blood glucose levels are normal. Now, if this process of glucagon and insulin, it does not work, you have diabetes. In your exam, you need to know about type 1 diabetes. And this happens when the pancreas does not produce enough or any insulin. And insulin, we know, reduces blood glucose concentration. So if it does not produce insulin, or does not produce enough insulin, your blood glucose concentration can rise very high, especially after eating. Because remember, starchy foods, they are broken down into glucose. So if you eat a lot of starchy foods, your blood glucose levels rise very high. And the body tries to fix this change, remember homeostasis, so the kidneys excrete a lot of glucose in the urine. And that's how you know if you have diabetes, from a urine sample. If you have glucose in there, then you probably have diabetes. And so lots of urine is therefore produced. And one of the symptoms is you feel very thirsty, because the glucose now cannot get into the cells from the blood, because remember, insulin allows glucose to get into the cells from the blood. Because this cannot happen anymore, you have a lack of energy and you feel tired. And so fat and protein is broken down for fuel instead, and so also you lose a lot of mass. Now, this can be treated. For example, insulin injections, or careful attention to diet, especially your intake of carbohydrates, because that's where the glucose comes from, and exercise. That's all you need to know for diabetes and the control of blood glucose levels in the blood. This has been the Awesome Tutor. Bye!